He will open this up.
Yeah, no, I didn't know him.
You let him open your brain up.
I've been following him on the internet for a year on YouTube.
Yeah, what I do is it just gets me pissed off.
No,
you know what I mean?
It was the way you delivered it that made me like, oh, I like this guy.
It just gets me pissed off. You motherfucking sons of bitches.
Yeah, because I get it. It's like, it's like, I know the truth. You're going to tell me I'm lying anyways?
Yeah.
After a while, you get a little upset, and, it's like, come on.
And that's what they're waiting for. Just give them any excuse to murder you.
Yeah, no, I know. I've been noticing.
So we have to get together as we the people. And when they start getting bit by all of us ants, they'll start to listen.
And that's another reason, just to piggyback off of what you're saying, Nelson, because I liked your concept of militia. And then what he's saying, we all got to kind of take care of each other. So I figured if I could meet as many people trying to be a national as possible, pretty powerful.
That's true. It's a networking thing. You got to associate with like-minded people.
Yeah.
So you got to find some other people that you can hang out with that have the same
Don't call
kind
me
of...
crazy or conspiracy
That's right.
theorist, because that's what I've been hearing.
That's right.
Wow. My grandmother's even, fuck your research. That's conspiracy. Grandma, what?
Yeah, so I that's why I like Texas, because there's lots of people there. I'm a senator with the Republic of Texas, so I have a conference call and we have Congress like once a month and second Saturday. So this coming not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow is we're gonna have Congress. I want to be back in Texas, and it's like you're meeting with a bunch of buddies. You know what I mean?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And everybody's same mind.
Yeah. So far,
like what, 15 years ago, whatever.
It's what are they calling it now? The government's calling it a Christian nationalist.
Yeah, well, that's probably true.
That's what they're calling it. These Christian nationalists.
Well, and they should be damn afraid of the Christian nationalists because there's
Thank
Christian
God.
nationalists that overthrew the fucking British Empire.
Mm-hmm. So that word wasn't made up.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're supposed to obey the civil law. What did they do? They rebelled against the civil law, right?
Yeah.
Hey. Right? Taxes was a civil law.
What do they call it on the slide? Poor people laws, right? They call it something different than. There's like a joke that they use that I was aware of. It's not. It's something like some of it revolving around or peasant laws or something they used. I forgot what they said. Some weird joke going on in New York. They really throw it in your face, It's all right. I'm gonna learn as much as I can and put my foot up their ass. I'm gonna do it for everybody. Especially when I've been, I don't know a lot, but the little bit I've been learning, I even plant seeds in my kids.
That's brilliant. Good for you.
Yeah, it's like, because if I started with just beginning and you're already got the beginning and you're starting now,
You're going to catch up. That's going to cure the nation.
Yeah.
And my dad was, he just had no access to the information. So that's why my family is the way we are.
Yeah, same thing.
Because he believed in freedom, just didn't know how to access it.
Right, and that's a lot of times the case.
And people get frustrated and they give up.
Yeah.
Because of in your case, like you're walking around dazed and confused.
Yes.
And that's what they count on.
Yeah.
Like, what do I attack first? What do I do?
That's why you have to
So it's just one step at a time. And you got to find some people to network with.
Yeah, they know I'm learning. They don't know. They don't really know how serious I'm taking it. They're trying to scare me away from the information. Honestly, that's what I feel in my heart. They're like, "Hey, stop it," because they're at the part where they're pretending like they can. They're showing all their cards now.
They're not showing all their cards.
Well, most of them.
So this is for removal, and then
But they'll break the law and not think twice.
Yeah, well,
that's
where they're
true.
At right now.
They're a bunch of thieves.
That's where they're at right now with me. Like like for example, when I was in front of the magistrate, he said, "Is anybody forcing you to take this probation deal, coercing you, or intimidating you?" I said, "Other than you in this courtroom today, no." He starts cracking up, laughing hysterically. Oh, for everybody.
You ain't seen nothing yet.
Thank you. But then right before that, he's like, "You're not taking these proceedings serious. Why are you cracking up?" So piggyback what you say is throw it in your face. It's just, I'm just tired of being this, like, it's like the consequence.
You just have to ignore their lies and deceit.
It's hard.
And stick to the truth, because we're trying to be honorable, and they're not at all, and that's the problem.
Does anybody intimidate you other than you? No. I'm glad that made you laugh. I came here to amuse you, Barnum and babies. Amazing. I have a short fuse with them when they're not doing the right thing. I try not to show it, but
It's hard. We become emotional, and
it's bad.
and that's they prey on that.
Yeah, they use it against us every time. Like when the sheriff took the phone out my pocket, I'm like, "Are you done trying to steal my property, or what do we have to do next here?" And then I was like, "I'm gonna complain about you." And then the judge threw his hands up, because this was in front of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You can't get like it made a big scene. I'm like, everybody was like,
Good.
Good
Well,
acting.
somebody needs to
They're
stir
good
that pot.
actors, you know?
I did.
He's acting as a judge. He's acting.
The
Just like lawyers have to, they can't. We said they accuse you of practicing law because they're practicing. They're not real lawyers. They're practicing. You can't practice law. Right?
That's what he tried to say. That's what the judge tried to say to me in the courtroom. He's like, "You're not a very good lawyer." I was like, I didn't think I was trying to be. I was like, okay.
Lawyers get they get paid to practice, right? They get paid to practice.
One lawyer, right?
I'm not one of your bar member scum.
Right. What this eviction lawyer? He goes to me. He's like, "You got balls. You should take the paralegal program in college." I'm like, what?
So I'm a drummer. I don't get paid to practice. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get paid for performing.
Yeah.
Lawyers get paid to practice. They're practicing law because they're not legal. Not lawful. Difference between legal and lawful, right? I'm sorry.
He went to my little brother. I was like, how does it feel to be a British creditor regent and living in America?
Your little brother?
He's a federal lawyer.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I asked him this. I said, how does it feel? And we shoot shots and we argue. But this time I just thought it was a little funny. I said, how does it feel to be a British accredited regent in America? He goes, he gave me this face. He's like, come on, man. Why are we doing this right now? But I don't know.
You're unmasking him.
It's because I was shocked with him because before, and I was learning this stuff a little bit. I wasn't too familiar with it. But before, I was like, don't get corrupt when you get your bar. And then he's like, I'm not going to do that. Are you kidding me? After that, got a bar. Every time I bring up a legal question that's not if I don't want to follow a statute, it's what are you talking about? Why you want to do that? I'm like, come on, man. I was like, isn't this? I don't know.
You understand completely.
He knows what I'm saying. And then I tell him, I was like, that's all right, though. I know how to use the fact that you're my little brother. I know how to use the fact that you're a lawyer. I'll just, I'll be like, hey, because when in clerks, I was like, if you really are really curious of how I'm starting to know all this stuff, my little brother's a lawyer, so just in case, like, I am taking law classes now. I'm going to make sure I learn this stuff. I'm
See,
tired.
unfortunately, this is where just like when the North and the South were in the Civil War, family members were fighting over there on different sides. With the British accredited regency, we're on different sides. They're on the side of the British, your brother. He signed
Yes.
up for the British.
Yeah.
He's a Tory.
Yeah.
I know. And he knows.
He knows
There's no
now.
way- There's no way to overcome that divide until he resigns. He can come back home, but he
The
won't.
perks, yeah, those perks he's getting is insane. The family seems proud of him, but then here I come like, Mom, listen, boys are not what we think they are. And then the family hates me and our conspiracy theories again.
Right, because you're basically mental.
Yeah, that's what that. My aunt tried to tell me, be careful, because I take other studies, this constitutional stuff, and what got me in tune with this is because it admits God's real. In a nutshell. So, I've been really trying to get involved and learn as much as I can.
Right. Well, in my experience, I have learned to just not spend a lot of energy trying to help people see through the matrix. Like Glenn said, if you can see, you're part of the solution.
Okay, so for those online, I'm not sure if we're going to get to talking about fake money here, but we have been talking about some other things here. And we'll try and speak louder so you guys can hear us. We have one guy here that his brother's a lawyer, and he's talking about the discussions they have. His eyes are being opened, and so, anyways,
Not the lawyer.
do we want to talk about criminal complaints this afternoon, or what do you want to talk about? We can talk about this fake money. I've got this fake money presentation that's ready to go. We can talk about fake money. Everything that's going on right now is because of the fake money. So, or we can talk about criminal complaints.
It's all good. It's all gold.
Or we can talk about the Form 1020s that I did with the banksters.
All necessary.
I also have a mandamus that I'm working on with someone.
Do that one.
Let me.
Is removing to federal court actually a mandamus with an end around?
No, mandamus is when you ask a superior court to order an inferior court, or you ask a court to order a bureaucrat, really, is what a mandamus is. Asking a court to order a bureaucrat to do his job. In the case of the mandamus that we're talking about with you guys, we're asking a superior court to order an inferior court to do their job, being that once you challenge jurisdiction, they have to prove it. And they never want to do that because they don't have it. And so they're not neutral or unbiased, Anyways, don't get me going.
So is a challenge to jurisdiction, is that a federal constitutional right that's being abridged?
Well, it's always a federal constitution, a federally protected right
That was the word
that's
I-
being abridged.
federally protected right. So I'm looking for the simplest action to take with the most effect.
I understand. I think we'll do this mandamus.
Nelson.
What?
I made room
Okay.
because you were
No,
over there.
I'm good over here for now. I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, I let my rechargeable batteries. They're like the kind of gold-plated ones. They used to be $100. Now they're $200 each.
Batteries?
Just Those little rechargeable hearing aid batteries.
Oh, hearing aids.
And I used to get them through my audiologist, and I can't anymore. She said the ones that were manufacturing went out of business. So whoever's manufacturing them, just come the hospital, whatever. They don't want to. St. Louis don't want to carry it because it's like an off-brand. It's not like GE or Rayovac, whatever.
Yeah. Well,
So online, you don't know. It might last a month, and you don't know where they're coming from.
Yeah.
So I haven't gotten any, and they're $200 each. What did I say? 200. Yeah, 200 each. So in the meantime, I'm just gonna get those. Well, you buy like 10 for $7, $8. Just because.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
But just I'm looking, trying to. That was like 4 miles away. I don't know if they have them, Dollar General, whatever.
Yeah. I didn't pass any on the way here. I wouldn't know. I didn't pass any on the way here. I don't know. I had a hard enough time finding a ATM, a bank here on the way, and then I finally found one.
Well, let's see here.
Yeah, Atlantic City is just what they got everything. I mean, this is more of a family-oriented town. I don't even think you can buy like the restaurant. I don't think you can order alcohol in like the restaurants and stuff. I don't know.
I don't know. I like this.
Because I wanted to watch. I was watching Boston-Toronto hockey last night. Was there a sports bar around here? Everything closed up like 8 o'clock. I was like,
Oh wow, that would drive me nuts.
I didn't want to go to Atlantic City by myself.
Yeah.
And Boston lost. Game 7 tomorrow.
If I stayed, I would have went to Atlantic City.
It's like they didn't want to win. I mean, face off for like 3-1. Come on, Boston never has 3-1 face off. They lose 3. 1 out of 4, they lose 3. No, it was like that the whole game. Just
Okay, well, I think we're going to talk about mandamus. You guys want to talk about mandamuses?
Yes, sir.
I think you did.
Yes.
So, first of all, you have to understand that one of the good things, a mandamus, a petition for a writ of mandamus is called an extraordinary writ. It's a common law writ. And that's one of the things that's really good because it's, but the different states have different statutes and stuff. Like New York, it's called an Article 78 action, and the rules, you got to look at their rules. And in Texas, we're doing one in Texas, and this is the rules of appellate procedure. It's 130 pages, but the thing I like about it with the mandamus is it's not a regular appeal. Whoops. There's a special section in Texas for mandamuses. Right there. Right. See, it talks about extraordinary relief right here. And there's 5 or 6 extraordinary writs. Original proceedings. It's considered an original proceeding in the Court of Appeals in Texas. Which means that's where you file it. You don't file it in any other court. So this here is the rules for an extraordinary writ. Section 3, original proceedings in the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeals. And it's actually quite short, 52.3. See, look at that. It's only like 3 pages. That's what I like about it. It's not that complicated. It's pretty simple. And has to start off in re and the name of who. So they tell you everything that you need. So this is an actual writ that we're working on right now. And some of it I have I haven't shown the top because then it doesn't show the guy that was involved. But everything else, this is an actual one that I'm working on. I'm just debating about whether, see, this case is going to be, they are going to get sued so bad. This is a guy that I know that he's a scientist. He's brilliant. He's kind of like the absent-minded professor. He's got a PhD in chemical engineering. He's really a smart guy. And he was doing a little chemistry demonstration with someone in the backyard. And this was in this little town in Texas. And he was on the edge of town. He wasn't even in the middle of town or anything. He was on the edge of town. So it was like almost in the country, you know. But it made a little bit of smoke. And they went off the deep end and they came down and broke his door down and arrested him and did all sorts of shit. And so I'm just debating about, you know, I mean, I could put in there that he's a scientist and he was performing a simple chemistry experiment. You know what I mean? And then what they did. But, you know, I'm debating about whether to put all that stuff in there or not. But anyways.
Did anyone get hurt?
No, of course not.
You got to have someone, an injury.
I know.
No.
Oh, there's all sorts of stuff. They didn't have probable cause for shit. And the warrant, I've got their warrant. The warrant was signed the day after they did the raid. And so that's fabricating evidence. That's a felony. Anyways,
That's just Texas.
yeah.
They won't check the date.
I mean, they do some stupid ass things sometimes, and you catch them in it,
Yeah.
and they really do some really stupid things sometimes, and you know, it's probably because they get away with it, you know. But
Yeah,
the warrant was signed the day after they did the raid. And you know, so anyways, they charged him with a felony, a potentially illegal weapon. So they don't even know. They don't know what this weapon was. They don't know. They just. I think.
Have them mail the weapon to them and let them open it and.
So, anyways. So what I did is I sent this to him, and he has done the best he can with it. So now I gotta help him with it. That's that code I put at the bottom is basically a 4-digit code for the month, for the year, for the date. So 5/23/24 will be May 23rd, 24, which that's probably about the time we get it filed. We might get it filed before then, but anyways. But so this mandamus is one that I got from Randy Kelton, and I don't know if you know who Randy Kelton is. He has a radio program called Rule of Law Radio, and he's really good statutory wise, really good statutory wise. So I use a lot of his material, but I always put my own spin on it, you know.
Now, has anyone ever actually succeeded with a mandamus in your sphere, where they've ordered the lower court to or a bureaucrat?
Well, Randy's did.
Okay. In Texas, state
Of course,
Texas.
yeah, Randy, it worked. I used his. Of course, his was, you know, he had a lot of stuff in there that wasn't relevant to mine, so I took stuff out. If you build a good case, it will work. You got to build a good case.
Right.
That's all. You know, the purpose of a mandamus is to there's Randy right there. This is his website. Eddie Craig. I think that's his wife, but I'm not sure. But I see him probably a couple times a week. He comes over. Him and one of my roommates hang out quite a bit. One of my roommates is a doctor, and Anyways, one of my roommates is a doctor, and this is Randy's website. One of my roommates is a doctor and does stem cells, and that's helped Randy quite a bit. And so, anyways. There we go, back to this. So I got the mandamus from him, and then I modified it. But it's how many pages? 17 pages. So it's not that long. We're going to have to attach evidence. This guy that I'm helping has gotten a transcript. See, what we did is we filed a challenge to jurisdiction, and the judge denied it. Matter of fact, he got the transcript. And so we have it on the transcript where the judge denied his challenge to jurisdiction. And so the question is whether see, the court has no authority to look into the merits of the case. See, most of the stuff is going to be the same for everyone. And it's most of it's stuff that Randy gave me, and some of it's stuff that Randy told me and I added in myself. Anyways. See, I'm going to have to send this to him, and he's going to have to review it. And oh, that's another thing. When you do Microsoft Word, there's a thing called track changes. See that where I did that? And then what happens is some of the stuff I've added in already, but that's okay. See how it underlines it? Then what will happen is he'll be able to come over. See, there's a vertical bar here showing there's a change here. He'll be able to come over and he'll do a right click and you can accept or reject it. See what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you ever send me a document that you want me to review, this is the way I'll do it. And I'll send it back to you, and you'll have to accept or reject the changes. Now, you can also go up here and you can accept, whoops, there we go. Right here, accept all changes. You can accept everything, or you can reject everything. You can do it up here too. But so anyways, I was helping someone do one that had a grade 3 education. So we need to go to the rules. See, I'm wondering about the time. See, there has to be identify the parties, table of contents, index of authorities, statement of the case. So there's basic things, but it's not really that much. See, in the appendix is where the attachments will be. See, it doesn't look like there's a time period for doing this. Then 15 days after the final order is rendered, you can do a motion for rehearing. So that's good to know. Now, this is Texas, and every state is different with mandamuses. Some of them just get rid of it. Like, I think New Jersey got rid of it. you can do something similar. I think it's more like a like they down here they call it a petition for review. Right here, petition for review, which is a certiorari. That's what a certiorari is. But a review, the nice thing about the mandamus is that when you're ordering them to prove jurisdiction, if they don't have jurisdiction, they can't look at the merits of the case. And that's the beauty of the mandamus. And that's what we tell them in here, is you can't look at the merits of the case. All you can look at is the issue of jurisdiction. See what I'm saying? And so that's the beauty of the mandamus. And you're ordering them to prove jurisdiction. Anyways, that's why I like it. But it's hard to get them to, you have to build a good case. So this is Texas. So this mandamus will be, maybe 20 pages with the attachments and everything. I don't know how much the evidence, like the transcript and so that'll be, actually, it'll be more than that with the evidence. The actual mandamus, what I've got here is 18 pages. This is just the Word file. So you can figure it's going to be about 18 pages. But that's with there's, an Appendix A and Appendix B, and you assert like the transcript, your evidence that you're going to have, like we're going to file a challenge to jurisdiction. So that's going to be in there. See what I'm saying? And you don't want to, when you file a challenge to jurisdiction, you want to file a challenge to jurisdiction that the Court of Appeals is going to see. So you don't want to put a lot of crap in there. You just want to keep it short and sweet and concise. And so the challenge to jurisdiction, I think, is like 10 or 15 pages. It's not that bad. But the point is that you don't dump on the court. You don't call them names. You know what I mean? Because the Court of Appeals is going to see that, and they might not like that. So you just keep it short and sweet and to the point, and that's it, And it's I've even done it myself. I call them names. I have nothing but contempt for you and your so-called court. You know what I mean? Well, you can't do that. If you're going to have the Court of Appeals see it, you don't want the Court of Appeals to see that shit. So you gotta make it so that it's something that the Court of Appeals is going to see, and it's going to be okay. Anyways, so one thing that they did is they're operating a star chamber. So we don't need this. See, and this is talking about the article. That's New York that you do the Article 78 proceeding. And I'm not sure if this is relevant. I'm just debating about whether, because they want him to get a lawyer, and that means they're a star chamber. And actually, I'm going to file some judicial complaints and criminal complaints against that judge, and I'll bet you they'll have a change of heart. So I'm not sure if that even needs to be in there. A lot of times I have to sit down and just think about this stuff, you know? Like, I don't think we need even that paragraph. I don't think we need this paragraph. So, I mean, this mandamus, and then the rest of it is the same stuff that's in the challenge to jurisdiction. We can probably take this out too.
Just walk by.
The rest of the stuff is, yeah, go ahead. Just put it back when you're done. The a lot of the rest of the stuff is okay. Good. Yeah, most of the stuff is just standard. Most of it I had in the challenge to jurisdiction. When I filed the challenge to jurisdiction, I put all this stuff in the challenge to jurisdiction. Court has no authority to determine its own jurisdiction. Subject matter jurisdiction issue raised. Remember, we talked about that this morning. Says they got to have subject matter jurisdiction. See, there's no time limit as to when you can do this. So, matter of fact,
Mandamus.
yeah. Well, this is in Texas, though. You got to understand this, Texas. Matter of fact, it doesn't say you can't do a preemptory one. Original appellate proceeding seeking extraordinary relief, such as a writ of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, injunction, or quo warranto, is commenced by filing a petition with the clerk of the appropriate appellate court. Petition must be captioned in re. Party seeking the relief is the relator. In the original proceeding, other than habeas corpus, the person against whom relief is sought, whether a judge, court, tribunal officer, or other person, is the respondent. A person whose interest would be directly affected by the relief sought is the real party in interest and a party to the case. And then it just tells you what you got to have. Table of contents, appendix. Doesn't tell you anything about time. Let's do this. Time and notice. Rule 4. That's criminal cases. Time to file motion. Appeals from trial court judgments and orders. Okay, that's appeals. See, that's the nice thing about the mandamus, because it's completely different. The time is all over the place. Let's do extraordinary. They're extraordinary writs, and it's listed as an extraordinary writ. So let's see. Extraordinary matters. Ooh, leave to appeal and disposition. So a single justice can act on it. Okay, that's appellate record. That's irrelevant. Extraordinary. That's the, you get the whole court. Extraordinary writ. Extraordinary relief. Okay, so see, you can do a rehearing anyway. So it's one judge that can decide it, but you can actually ask for a 3-judge panel, do a rehearing, and that'll be a 3-judge panel. I'll be right back.
Now in New Jersey, we were going to do a mandamus for my situation because I was accused of trespassing and simple assault. And I demand a trial by jury, which is a constitutionally protected right. And the way I've been dealing with my legal matters is I don't bring in any cases. I don't argue case law at all. It's Constitution and before. It's not just the Constitution, it's the Declaration of Independence, the Articles of Confederation, and the Northwest Ordinance, all of which guarantee common law. And in New Jersey, what they did since 1844 is they took men out of the criminal system and inserted a fictional name, a paper and a thing. And I discovered this well after the fact. Point being is up until 2 weeks ago, I was going with this mandamus to try to get a superior court, an appellate court, to order the municipal court to rule we challenged the jurisdiction, as he's talking about. And he helped me with it back in December or January. I sent it in, and I was so confused when I went to court, I forgot to bring it up. So I was just arguing the way we were, but during the course of the proceedings, I demanded the trial by jury, because to me that's more important than challenging jurisdiction. But his point is challenging jurisdiction defeats it right at the get-go. If they don't have the jurisdiction, it's over, with no merits of the case, nothing. So what I'm planning to do now is, based on this quasi-criminal offense of disorderly persons for trespass, is to take it remove it to federal court, which is what you did, right? So with whatever you were doing, federal district court, you removed your situation to district court.
Sorry?
You removed your case
several
to
times
federal.
I've done that, yeah.
Did you win every time? Right.
Well, either got dismissed from my favor. Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
So the point is, and when I was down in Texas visiting Glenn and his friends, a state Supreme Court justice was visiting one of Glenn's meetings, speaking. He was the head speaker. There were only about 7, 8, 9 of us there. So we all had a little private meeting with the guy. When I explained his situation to me, he said, my solution is in federal court. And the reason I believe that to be the case is in the Constitution, it says in Article 3, the judicial clause, that the United States shall have exclusive admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. The United States shall have exclusive admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. What I found out is when I get arrested, the all caps name is as if I'm a cargo box floating on the water. That's when it's in the all caps name. That's maritime. Remember the Constitution when they created the United States, not the United States of America, when they created the United States. We created the United States of America people, created this new federal government. And we said, okay, if something is in admiralty and maritime, it exclusively belongs to the United States, not the state. The state back then. It's not the same state today. That's where the confusion comes in.
Well, they're all corporations, aren't they?
Right. And so the long story short is that when in New Jersey, they capture me and arrest me in maritime jurisdiction with the gold fringe flag, United States, and then I go to an admiralty court where it's like I'm on a ship and I'm a seaman or
he's not the captain.
I'm not the captain. I'm speak, but I can speak. So admiralty is when you can speak. Now, all maritime cases are held in admiralty. But my point is they capture us, the cops capture us and write us up, the charges, in maritime jurisdiction, which is not original common law jurisdiction. So everything that they do to us is in admiralty maritime. It's never common law. And that's why we never seem to win until we bring up these situations. So what Glenn was suggesting I do with the mandamus a few weeks back is I challenged jurisdiction. Last 2 weeks ago, I had the judge, if Glenn was on the phone, I was ready to walk into court. And he said, just write up on a piece of paper, 2 pieces of paper, that the judge either grants my request to challenge jurisdiction or he denies it. I just wrote those 2 different pieces of paper and I presented them to the judge through the bailiff. And the judge signed the one that said my challenge to jurisdiction is denied. And then he told me to make sure I get the court stamped, and the judge didn't want to do it. He just signed it and didn't want to have the court stamp it. So I sat there and waited till he stamped it. I was surprised he did it. And I think he had to do it. See, they have to do certain things. So when we know we can compel them once we know what to do. So we were gonna do a mandamus to get a higher court to order the municipal court to prove jurisdiction, which they wouldn't be able to do, but it's still within the state system. So today, for this week, Glenn suggested I go to federal district court and remove it out of the state system into the federal system because my federal protected rights have been violated. And that's where I'm at right now.
You're not on the ship anymore.
Okay, that makes sense.
So hopefully I explained that.
No, you did. I got everything.
You can follow.
But I have a question for you. If in my position, if I resign for probation, can I still move it to federal? it's not. I'm not sentenced. I just what they consider cop out in New York.
Yeah, basically, in my opinion, did my question would be is did you grant jurisdiction to the court?
I challenged it, and then they threatened me with
Okay, so
bunch of
originally
bullshit.
you challenged it.
in the next court case.
Okay, so I think you're good because they've been denying me for 2 years.
Yeah.
And I'm still now going to do that. And,
Yeah.
and again, the Supreme Court state justice said my answer is in federal court. It's just a put a period right there. And I was explaining to Glenn a couple days ago that there's a phrase that's "don't make a federal case out of." Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
And why was that? When did that phrase start to come into our vernacular?
They wanted us to be slaves.
Exactly. Don't make a federal case out of it. Because I didn't need to make a federal case out of it if I had state common law rights. Everything was fine. But the minute they brought the corporation in and the martial law in, that meant the state started abrogating the Constitution, which is why we have to make a federal case out of it. And we all think that that's not.
Those are federally protected rights.
I know, but it's like we're like, well, we should be. In my mind, I should be able to get a cure within the state system.
You would think.
Wrong answer.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah.
Wrong answer. So in his case, why should anything ever be dealt with in state court?
Well, hopefully they get slapped enough by the feds, and then they start. But right now, I mean, there's no justice in those courts. Even the federal courts are difficult, but the state courts is it's because the people are asleep at the wheel, and the militias are. I think it comes down to the militias because it's like. What's his name? Edwin Vieira said in his book that and I put it in my video, that if we don't revitalize the militia, we're going to have a police state. Well, what do we have? We have a police state, and the only way that it comes down to that all political power comes at the barrel of a gun, and when the people stand up, and then the fucking pigs run and hide.
And the way I read the Constitution, the founding fathers were so brilliant that the political power that I have today, as I sit here, is in the federal district court, for starters. That's the gun that they gave to us. The power of the United States Army, the provost marshal, the different. So that's my current position. Is the United States, we the people created the United States, and the founding fathers gave we the people the political power of the gun at the barrel of a gun of the United States against whoever, the government. They hated government because they knew what men would corrupt it and overstep their bounds.
Well, it used to be up until, from what I heard, when Johnson came into power, they stopped issuing ammunition. They used to issue free ammunition in support of the militias, so people could go out and target shoot free. And I know for a fact, I remember in the 90s, they used to issue 303s.
Yeah, you said that.
You could get a 303 from the federal government in support of the militia. And in the 90s, under George Bush Sr., they stopped doing that. So, we the people, I mean, if we the people were doing our job, there'd be none of this shit going on in New York or New Jersey. You know what I mean? So we got these foreign agents that have basically seized control and doing whatever they want to do. Anyways, so this mandamus is, I mean, other than this factual accusation, it's just the same arguments as in the challenge to jurisdiction. Lower court might be able to presume jurisdiction, but what's challenged, the presumption cannot continue and jurisdiction must be proven. There was no attempt to prove jurisdiction in the lower court. And denied.
On June 14th, 1775, the Second Continental Congress voted to create the Continental Army out of the militia units around Boston, blah, blah, blah.
Right. But the the army is not the militia.
I'm sorry?
The army is not the militia.
No. They created the army from the militias.
Well, from some of the militias. But
around Boston. That's
yeah.
where it started.
Yeah, but the army's not the militia. Separate.
The Second Continental Congress meeting, they drafted the Olive Branch Petition in hopes of getting King George III's support against Parliament. Olive Branch Petition.
What the heck is that?
we the people submit an olive branch petition to the Biden administration these guys were smart. Shoot.
Yeah.
Because the Patriots.
This is a Patriot from where? From where? Oh.
See, they were offering peace before the war.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Britain,
the ones.
Britain turned them down. They offered peace. Let's have peace.
Yeah, no, I know. They wanted
sent the
control.
soldiers over.
They didn't
And then
want
they lost the Revolutionary War. Britain lost. See?
hear what you're saying.
Mm. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about it? Pretty interesting, isn't it? An olive branch petition before the war started. They offered peace to Britain.
And that's what I've done here. I just told the local guy in charge of the swimming pool and the gym. I said, I'm offering you peace. I come in peace. I said, the hand of friendship. I said, but if you continue to make war against me and against the Constitution,
This is going to become this, right? Yeah.
well, I'm going to use the, see, we can, that's where the beauty of the founding fathers never wanted us to have to suffer violence again, which is why I think they put the power of the United States, PC, in our hands through what you found, USC, this. Like, I think they gave us everything we need. We've just been so poorly educated.
Well, and that's true. I mean, all we need to do is use what's available.
Right.
Their
So-
codes,
Right.
you know.
So they gave everything to us that we need. And we've just been so dumbed down.
So why can't we, the people, offer that to the Biden administration?
I'm saying we can do it. My other friend Charlie, he said we just do it independently. Forget the whole point of we the people is every man volunteers himself. Now we can help each other, but they want us to try to get together in a group, a mob, a democracy.
Yeah, they want the riots and stuff and
They keep trying to force us into it. And I think Trump delaying the election on purpose, they knew that the best way to avoid a civil war is to
Educate people.
bring them along, wake them up one by
Right.
one. They're
Right.
slumber, or they're
Right.
actually anti-conservative, anti-freedom, and they finally, it got so bad. Maybe some of them are, waking up. We were already there, kind of.
Yeah.
Many were not. So, did I interrupt
No, I agree.
what you were working on?
No, anyways, the mandamus is pretty standard. I mean, I've made a few changes through it. I go through it and make a few changes. And I need to go back to the original one and see, because I can see I've added a lot of stuff in here. And under the rules, I have to do a motion. So
Like you said, it's a common law writ, which New Jersey's so corrupt, I don't even think it's possible. The mandamus, or it's going to be so difficult and buried that I'm just going to do the federal notice of removal.
I think you ought to remove your case into
Yeah.
the feds.
Right, because they've been so
They're just ignoring the
they've been
Constitution.
they've been so egregiously ignoring the Constitution,
Right.
to the point of absurdity.
Yeah, I would just I'd put it in there.
Just call their bluff.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, if you're stupid enough to let us keep doing it to you,
I'd make a counterclaim. I'd be thinking about a counterclaim. But
What's a counterclaim in that situation? Like, what does that mean?
well, they're charging him with trespassing. But it's based on a municipal court judge that said the Constitution doesn't mean anything in my court. What did he say exactly?
the Constitution means nothing in my courtroom.
Yeah. I think that'll go over really well.
And I actually think he was telling the truth. And
It probably was.
And the reason is, while I was locked up, I did some research. Go back in time to 1850. We're in New York or New Jersey. Where is the only location of geographically, because this Constitution shall be the supreme law of the land. The United States jurisdiction is Article 3, exclusively Admiralty and maritime jurisdiction, right?
Yeah.
So, I'm in New Jersey or in New York on Long Island. The ocean's there, the land's here. Where is the only place that the state back then and the United States in the ocean had concurrent jurisdiction? What geographic area? The answer is anywhere that the tide goes up and down, up and down, up and down. Hudson River. What's the other one up there? East River, up and down. They both could, if there was a crime committed, either one can prosecute. But what they've done is with the gold fringe flag and the martial law and the fake money, they've made it all thinking that the tide's going up and down. They actually say we're out on the ocean is what they're doing. They're saying the state has no jurisdiction because you're on the ocean. You're on a ship, you're in our jurisdiction, in their world, the United States. Because the United States was given certain things to do. Commerce, protection from foreign enemies, customs and duties. There wasn't much that they had exclusive. So that's what the gold fringe flag is about, in my opinion. And my research indicates that the gold fringe flag was not flying inside of the state courthouse or the state legislature. The gold fringe flag. Now, the United States flag might have been there on the outside, but the gold fringe flag has now appeared inside, even to the point of my city council has a gold fringe flag. That's because of the martial law. So what you and I are thinking is normal law. It's not. It's statute law. It's U.S. law. And that's why we have to go into the federal means to cure it. So what I found was that the only place state, like if I'm in a river that doesn't ebb and flow, back in 1850, the feds had no jurisdiction on a lake or on a stream or a river, that there was no ebbing and flowing of the tide. Low tide to high tide. If I'm on a wharf, that wharf has water going up and down on the pilings. So either state, if I punch somebody, if I kill somebody on the wharf, back then, either the state or the feds could prosecute. So there was a case out here in New Jersey, interestingly enough. A seaman punched somebody on the ship. He hit him so hard with a club that he needed medical attention. They brought him ashore. He died a month later. The state said, we want to get him for murder. The feds said, we get him for murder because the striking blow happened out on the sea. Guess who got jurisdiction under the Supreme Court? The Supreme Court ruled, did the state get to prosecute or the feds get to prosecute the murder? Who do you think won? One of them won. Did the United States, did the Supreme Court say the United States gets to prosecute for murder, or did the Supreme Court say the state of New Jersey prosecutes for murder? Because he was struck out on the sea, but he died on land.
State.
Correct. That's exactly what happened. And that's what happened. The guy got hung or killed or whatever. You know, he did it, and he was found guilty, and he was sentenced to death by the state. But they were fighting over who got to prosecute. But it was because of the concurrent. The question was where did the crime occur? And the assault happened out on the sea, but the murder, when he died, he was on land. If he would have died out in the ocean, then it would have just been the United States got to prosecute. But what does that mean for me today? It means that everything they're doing is if I'm on the sea, which is why we have to go to federal. In my opinion, at this point, I'm starting to get totally invested in the federal aspect.
So then situations like family court. Well, how do you remedy that?
I can't. I'm not qualified.
Man, and what would be an attack to like child support or something?
Well, see, the problem is your children are not your property. They belong to the state.
Well, yeah. Due to the see, what I'm fighting actually is social services aspect. They're trying to generate money off the social. All three of ours. I cut myself out. They're having a little issue with me. What I'm trying to do is just cancel the debt now, because it's an illegal debt. Where did you come up with this money judgment? And by the time I seen it, wasn't even realistic to fix.
Well, they're 1020.
I did. I see.
Right, but we may have to reassert the very same thing. For example, in New Jersey, when I got out of jail, falsely arrested, falsely accused, falsely incarcerated, falsely sent to a mental hospital twice, and they showed all their cards because I refused to give jurisdiction. They told me I'm not competent to stand trial because I refuse a bar member to represent me. That was the reason.
Isn't there pro se litigation? It makes sense.
Well, I never went to go see the judge. Because when the first time I saw her, she said, "Well, I'm ordering a competency evaluation for your answers that you gave me," because she didn't like my answers. She asked me.
So would you file a criminal complaint?
Well, at the end of the day, Glenn did, yes, and the police chief got fired, and
Nice.
so did he was forced to retire at 55, making 165,000 a year. But he was fired. What's the difference between the Department of Health and the Department of Human Services? HHS.
One makes it, one administers it.
And that's not my understanding. My understanding is one is the man, the other is the fiction. One is the man, the other is the slave. One is the man, the other is dead. One is the man, Department of Health. With their human services, they can do anything they want to you. They can euthanize us like dogs if we're human services. The commissioner, who I never met, he filed a criminal complaint against her because she had the oath of office when they sent me to the state mental hospital. She was responsible for the fact that I was put there falsely, even though she knew nothing about it. Because she has the oath. It's her responsibility to deal with the people below her. So we filed criminal charges. Lo and behold, guess who resigned? The commissioner. Yes. So anytime you hear the word commissioner, it's military martial law rule. In New Jersey, we used to have county freeholders. Now, under martial law, we have county commissioners. It's all there for us. They're telling us. But we're so stupid. We have no idea what they're doing to us. So the first thing I did was resign from voting. I am a state national. I am a free citizen of Pennsylvania. And everywhere I travel in the United States of America, I'm an inhabitant. I'll never be a citizen of New Jersey because I was born in Pennsylvania. Wherever I go, I'll never be anything but a free citizen of Pennsylvania. But I'm inhabiting New Jersey right now. If I go to Texas for a month, I'm inhabiting New Jersey. Texas. But I'm always a free citizen. So they always only teach us about the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. What they don't teach us, if you write this down, write down livingsovereign.org. And that has the information on the Articles of Confederation and the Northwest Ordinance. Because see, what happened was Virginia used to own Ohio. And at this end of the War of Independence, they tried running the show with this government that was fighting England, and it wasn't adequate because certain states were still not doing what they should honorably, and there was no way to force the other states to do anything. Everybody was their own gang.
Yeah, basically.
And so in 1787, it was decided, okay, we got to do something. So we're going to do this Constitution. We don't want to do it, but we have to because France and England might invade us again at any time because they're nuts and they want power. And if we look weak, they're going to come rob us, which was the case. They actually did it 20 years later with the War of 1812. So the Articles of Confederation, some of the states, like Virginia, surrendered their Western land claims. Now, you and I think Western means California. At the time, Western meant Ohio. So that land was under the control of Congress until it became a state. It was a territory. This gold fringe flag that's on every cop out here, they're acting as if we're now back before we're even a state, because we're not a state. New Jersey's not a state. It's in mothballs. We're being run as a corporate of the United States. That's where I'm at right now. And so that means that I need to know what the Articles of Confederation say, because the Articles of Confederation protected common law. If I was in Pennsylvania in 1790 and I wanted to go west to Ohio and settle, Congress appointed a governor. Congress made law for the territory of Ohio until it became a state. So now I'm a free citizen, but now some goons out of the United States might do what? To commit crimes against me as a free man. So we needed to have what was written in the Articles of in the Northwest Ordinance to protect us. It said we always have judicial proceedings, of course, according to the course of common law. Writ of habeas corpus, trial by jury. What's the difference between a jury trial and a trial by jury?
One is sovereign people dictate you think, and the other one is the courts do.
Right, but from a grammatical standpoint, what's the semantics? And the answer is look up the word jury as an adjective. Look up the word jury as an adjective. And that's what they give criminals today, is a jury trial. Because the word jury is describing the type of trial. Jury trial is what they give non-sovereigns. And trial by jury has been abolished. So that on its face, and one of the founding fathers said that they would rather 100 guilty men go free than for one innocent man to be railroaded, basically. That's how much they cared about our freedoms.
Well, at all kangaroo courts, that's what's happening today. They should get their necks stretched.
If I had any tears left, I would shed them, Glenn. So when I was in court, I demanded trial by jury with the Superior Court. You know what they did? She said, I'm going to declare a municipal court here, and I'm going to try you in a municipal court, and I will be the judge. I will be the trier of fact, the sole trier of fact, and the jury, she said. She said, I'll be a jury of one. So they gave me time served, but they never gave me my trial by jury, because they can't. So I now have a claim of injury because they violated my life, liberty, and property without due process of law.
That's a claim of injury? That's what that's considered?
Yes, it's murder, essentially. Life, liberty, and property without due process of law. Okay, they can't take anything under common law. Again, you have to read section 14, articles 1 through 5 of the Northwest Ordinance. That's the key. In Article 6, Clause 1, it's the only man I've ever heard in all throughout the nation, not even Glenn has brought this up. Article 6, Clause 1 of the Constitution. It's brilliant. It basically says that a man has all the rights under the Confederation. It says that the United States can be our enemy. How could the United States be our enemy? Very simply. We're creating the United States, giving them all this power, federal powers. They can become our enemy, which they have. But Article 6, Clause 1 of the Constitution binds them that I can claim the Confederation. 1777, the government of 1777. All engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States as under the Confederation. Against the United States. Against the United States. All engagements. Now, if you just read the first word, it says all debts and engagements. So I always thought, okay, so yeah, we have to, the debt from the Revolutionary War, we can't get out of it. That's kind of what I figured, which was true. But I never read the second two words, and engagements entered into. And engagements were the Peace Treaty of 1783 and the Northwest Ordinance. We have some people writing some telegraphing there. So I hope that was helpful.
You know, I didn't know about Northwest Ordinance.
In Article 6, Clause 1.
Yeah, I wrote that stuff down.
And see, when we claim the Constitution, this Constitution shall be the supreme law of the land. If we don't get our feet back on the land, then we've got nothing. We're an Admiralty maritime.
It's all because of the banksters.
I hear you, and that's why Glenn's right. We go to the federal courts. In my case, that's just to get out of a simple trespassing charge. They want to hang me for trespassing. Because the minute they surrender, they'll be liable for a lot of potential money. But it's not about the currency. It's about freedom.
Yeah.
It's not about the fake money.
There was.
It's about the freedom. I mean, it's not, I shouldn't say not at all, but the point is if I just take money and go away and do nothing for about the freedom, then I just might as well join them now and become a lawyer or a sheriff or whatever.
Yeah.
A mayor, and be or a prison warden. So the second time, I didn't know it, but Glenn taught me that that the judge gets a commission check when she sent me to the mental institution for the evaluation. She got a commission check from Washington, D.C. And it's done on a 90-day rotation because they sell bonds. So Glenn, that it was 290 days exactly to the day that I was in that mental institution.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
The sheriff came to get me on the 180th day because the county had no way to pay the state after that because the bond was up. And I didn't know any of this at the time. But the first 90 days I was in there, I had an evaluation, and the Indian doctor from East India, he said, you're not competent to stand trial because you refuse to accept the public defender. So when he sent that report in to the county judge, the county judge's office said, okay, I guess you need another 90-day evaluation. So maybe you'll get your mind right. So the second time around, I had some other doctors who were white, and I told them, I said, look, you still have to find me incompetent because I still refuse to work with a county. It's a true story.
I know.
I said, I still refuse to work with the bar attorney. So you have to find me incompetent again. Give me another 6 months or 3 months. They said, we can hold you here indefinitely. I said, okay, so find me incompetent. And do you know what they did? They said, we're done with what the judge is doing to this guy. We find him competent. And do you know what happened, Glenn?
That was because I was filing those criminal complaints against him, I'll bet you, for forced medical experiments and war crimes.
Yes, and I was threatening them about that too. Meaning the second round of so they were brought in. My second psychiatrist was brought in, and he was being grilled by the public defender. Supposedly my public defender was grilling him, saying, "How could you find him competent?"
Really? Into the show trial?
And the superior court judge, the bad judge, said, the one that sent me out there, she said, she looked at him, she had a fearful look on her face. She said, "You're testifying."
To the lawyer?
Yes.
Oh, really?
And it was closed because it was a medical
Right.
thing. Like there was no people there. It was just, and so that second psychiatrist got on, he was on the screen, and he had been coached by his upper echelon people.
No doubt.
What not to say, because they went against the psychiatrist went against the system by finding me competent. Because all they would have had to done was find me incompetent the second time and wave a wand and say, "He's no danger. We find no danger. Just put him out the back door." But they sent me back as being competent.
Right.
And that's when the judge was forced to reduce all the charges. But what was hilarious was she didn't realize another mistake she made. She had found me in contempt. But there's a difference between civil contempt and criminal contempt. Civil contempt is money only. Criminal contempt, guess what I'm entitled to? A trial by jury.
Right.
So I had been demanding trial by jury for the supposed indictable crimes, and they bucked them all down to misdemeanors. She forgot to do that because she wanted me with that. She wanted to hold that trial for contempt.
See, that's another denial of due process.
Oh,
So
good.
they lost subject matter jurisdiction. Denials of due process. You were denied a trial by jury.
You know what this means, right?
Yeah, I know.
That's the son. That's Jonathan's son.
Yeah.
The anointing.
So you were denied trial by jury, which means they lost subject matter jurisdiction.
That's
Is
why.
that a spiritual self-cleanse thing?
No, it's the anointing of the Holy Spirit testifying in me to the truth about what Glenn is saying. So it's just a sign that, we don't tell anybody, but it's my way of telling him that he's speaking the truth without you guys knowing.
The Spirit's telling
Now
him
I
that.
know. Let me use that.
It's just a sign to us spiritual people who understand how the Spirit is supposed to lead us into all truth. Because I'm so confused.
I like this conversation, please.
I'm so confused that I need help. So when he's talking, I'm thinking I might know what I want to do, but then when I get the heavenly applause, the
Right.
heavenly testimony of what he's saying, because the Spirit is telegraphing to me what Glenn is speaking, went to heaven, heaven heard it, heaven approves, and heaven applauds it, in fact. And then there's even a way of, depending on how strong the anointing is, there's actually a gauge. Once you learn how to sense the anointing in degree, then it's like, is it a minor applause, or is it a roar of, the truth, and the truth will do what?
So this is right here. Speaking of what you're talking about and what you're talking about and everything that's going on, this is 5GW, okay, Fifth Generation Warfare by Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. Okay? You know how Lieutenant General, the generals go, Brigadier General is the baby generals, Major General is the next ones, Lieutenant General, and then General, right? That's the highest. Okay, so he was just about as high as you can get. as far as generals are concerned
How
in the
about
military.
stars?
Right.
First
Anyways,
star, third star.
Fifth generation warfare. So, target audience. According to U.S. Department of Defense, a target audience is an individual or group selected for influence or attack by means of psychological operations. This can be based on gender, position in a family, fathers, mothers, order of birth, etc., tribal connections, political affiliations, religious background, economic standing, regional areas, age, military affiliation, occupation, education background, and anything else that lumps people into a group. After a PSYOP objective is determined and a PSYOP plan is made, various target audiences will be assessed to determine how they can be influenced to support the PSYOP objective. Target audience analysis seeks to answer key questions. Accurate and thorough analyses of the target audience will yield the following vital information. Number one, what target audiences will be most effective in accomplishing the supporting PSYOP objectives? Number two, what are the reasons for the target audience's current behavior? Number three, what are the best means of communication to reach a target audience? Number four, how can the target audience be influenced to achieve the desired behavior? And number five, what are the appropriate criteria by which to assess behavior change? Okay, so anyways, and it goes on. Right now, someone somewhere is assessing you as a target and figuring out how to influence your thoughts, behavior, and actions. There are military manuals written on how to do it. This is not new, and with the proliferation of artificial intelligence and social media, it's never been faster, easier, or more effective. Every click, every search, every hashtag, and every response you type into a machine hooked to the internet is a factor that develops a matrix of how best to manipulate you worldwide. And that's, okay, keep on. How many of you have recently been ostracized by family members, employers, and longtime friends because of your beliefs about a current topic? How many opportunities have you lost lately because of someone's polarized beliefs about who they think you are? Have you tribalized your associates and the area in which you live? Do you dehumanize others and believe that others are doing the same to you? Are you more afraid now than you used to be? In PSYOP, the answers to these questions are called impact indicators. They are used to determine if a PSYOP campaign is working. Anyways.
That's interesting. So you said it. So according to that book, your family's basically coining conspiracy theories even more because of the military.
It's a PSYOP.
That explains so much.
It's a PSYOP. Everything is a PSYOP, and it's because.
So basically, they figured out. I try to tell my mom or brother or something about anything national. They figured that out. Influence them through social media or something.
Right.
That's what that book's saying. Saying
Yeah.
that I'm full of shit.
Yeah.
Wow. That's brilliant.
Well, and it's warfare.
That's brilliant.
It's warfare
It
too.
is warfare.
You got to understand that we're at war.
How much is that book?
Huh?
How much is that book?
It was actually like about $50. I ordered it from General Flynn. He's got a second one out, I think, but it's not very big.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
And what does the Declaration of Independence say regarding enemies in war, in peace, friends? Enemies in war, in peace, friends. In other words, we were saying to the British brethren, it says our British brethren, enemies in war. You're our enemies in war. In peace, friends. So we're offering them. It's up to them. We
Right.
want to be, and so the same thing's going on today with all of us with the government. You're either friends, and then we can be friends, or you're my enemy.
Well, I think really what it comes down to is that it's the enemy, right? We're at war. You got to understand we're at war, and they stole the election. There was foreign interference in our election. I didn't talk about it in the presentation this morning, but when I don't know how much you remember after the election with when Trump in November of 20, what happened is it came out in the news that those Dominion voting machines were transmitting data to an Italian satellite, and there was a big shakeup in the Italian government. The Italian prime minister came down. They had to appoint a new prime minister. There was an Italian defense contractor that was mixed up in it, and what happened is that satellite was leased to the Vatican. And yeah, no joke, eh? And so and now it's coming out, and there's a video I could play for you if you want to listen to it. Now it's coming out that all those Dominion voting machines have software in them, and the software, they have approved software. In other words, the software has to be checked and verified, and once it's checked and verified, it's approved. And so there was approved software in those machines, but before the election, it all got replaced with unapproved software. So think about it. If a machine that's supposed to have approved software in it doesn't have approved software in it, then it's not recognized. Okay? In other words, there was no election. And on top of that, the geolocation device in Hunter Biden's laptop showed that he was in Serbia, less than a mile away from Dominion's head office in Serbia, which means foreign interference. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And with the election, and so all that shit's coming out now, and so the shit is going to hit the fan. I don't think there's going to be, I don't think something's what I'm watching for. Okay, what I'm waiting for is Arizona or some other states, probably Arizona, probably some other states, will decertify the election. Okay, and what will happen then is that because Arizona decertifies it and some other ones, then automatically Trump will become president, because Biden's votes that he stole will be decertified.
So what does that do to the 8-year limit? Like he gets now he'll get 8. Like he'll replace his 4 and do another 4, or how does that work?
Well, that's a good question. I think that what's going to happen is that, from what I'm hearing, the upcoming election won't happen. There'll be a pause, because what they have to do is they got to get rid of all these voting machines. They have to redo the elections and make sure that they're completely on the up and up, and there's no election stealing, no vote stealing, all the rest of it. All of these, these write-in ballots, these early voting, all this other shit, that's all opportunities for fraud. There's all sorts of stories of how a state would print 100,000 ballots for early voting and stuff like that, and 300,000 or 400,000 ballots would come in. You see what I'm saying? So there's obviously all sorts of fraud going on. You see what I'm saying? And so they got to get rid of it. And so what will happen is, I think the military is going to have to step in. Trump will be president, and because Trump went and had that executive order about foreign interference in our election, there was departments of Homeland Security that were supposed to give him a report, and they refused to give him the report. about the election fraud, the foreign interference. They refused to give it to him. And so I mean, there's just a whole bunch of things that are that I see. That's why I think it was all orchestrated by the military, and they wanted to build a case, and so
when they provide the evidence to the public, it'll be irrefutable.
right.
And psychologically, the psyop on the good end is that people who were wishy-washy of, just
Right.
not voting at all have decided to go against Biden. And the question I would have is, number one, is Trump commander-in-chief and Biden is president?
Well, see what happened. Number one is the military recognized. See, before the election, because of the COVID and all that shit, Trump said, out of an abundance of caution, we might have already been attacked by a foreign power. So I am putting NORAD, okay, that's North American Radar Air Defense, and these elements of the military on lockdown, okay, on lockdown. And so, and they've been on lockdown ever since. And so they recognized that there was foreign interference in the election, and there was agencies like Homeland Security refused to say anything about it, and so they knew it was going on, and so they've always considered Trump to be the commander in chief. Okay, he's still got the football. Okay, in other words, the nuclear codes, he's got them. Biden can't have them because he's not. Military doesn't recognize him as being president. You see what I'm saying? And so we'll see how it all plays out. He was given an opportunity to sign the Insurrection Act, and he decided not to because they were worried about a civil war. He didn't want to have a civil war. He didn't want to have people killing each other in the streets and that kind of stuff. And so he just didn't sign the Insurrection Act, and he wanted to. And so about 18 months, this is one of the things that I talk about in some of my videos, about 18 months before his first indictment, I got an email, and it said, Trump's going to get indicted, but don't worry, it's all part of the show. And so then 18 months later, he got indicted, right? And then he got indicted again and again and again, right? All this shit that's gone on, right? And then what happened is just before his latest indictment, the last one, he came out and he said, I am your retribution. I've even got the meme that he put out, right? I am your retribution. If you've been wronged by the deep state, I'm going to go after him when I get back into office, okay? So he is jerking their chain. and so and they are in panic mode because they know what's going to happen if something happens and they're not in power. And he started talking about public hangings, okay?
I want to see that. Like I've heard you say it, but I haven't heard him say it.
Well, he did before his last indictment. He started talking about public hangings. And matter of fact, I've got. Well, here, let me show you. This is something that I've got here on Telegram. Where did I see that? I'm going to splinter the CIA into a million pieces.
That's a good idea. I would like to help.
Yeah, no shit. The CIA is the biggest problem.
So
I was told on some I researched. I've seen that they invented the word conspiracy theory. CIA.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Oh, that's confirmed. Oh.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Yeah, I'm new to I'm new to the club.
it's all right.
I'm getting there though.
You're doing great.
I'm catching up.
Look, there aren't many people. You see how many people show up.
You know, I had to.
Had to. I understand. Well, Glenn.
What's
when
that?
When I was involved in this religious dispute, I was learning. I was saying, how can I not have religious freedom in America? And the answer is, I'm not in America. I'm in the United States, in their world. That's why.
There you go.
It's that simple. So I was online and doing some, and then his videos pop up, and I sent him an email, and this was in March of 2018. And I said, why don't you come up in a month or two and do a seminar? We had like 20 people here. They flew in. It was crazy.
Yeah, that was early when we first started doing them here.
It was come one, come all, no vetting, nothing. And it was like going out fishing, and stuff came up in the nets that crazy.
We started doing them like, what was it, 2017 or something like that?
2017. So
Yeah.
he was here within 60 days of when I first contacted him. He drove up from Arizona at the time. And
You drove?
Yeah,
I barely like to drive from New York.
Yeah, I always drive. I don't want to get groped. I haven't been on a flight in a long time.
How do you stay? I don't know. I feel like maybe I just didn't get a lot of sleep yesterday. I feel like half hour when I'm like, it says half hour away. Now I'm starting to get like tired. I'm like, what the heck?
it could be something. You're under hypnosis from something. Meaning not to do with you,
No, I
but
understand what you're
just
saying.
life. I mean, they're doing a psyop on us. It's tough. I've been sleeping a couple of times. Well, I was up at 5 o'clock. But the good news is we're on our way, and every time we turn one,
There we go.
and I've had family members, but we have Patriot blood in us, and I knew they would respond eventually because they were initially anti-mockery, and now they're, because I just rely on the proof is all around us. So I let the bad guys show them that we're telling the truth. I don't try to convince them. I just tell them what's going to happen eventually, and they get pulled over. They get a ticket. They have to go to court. They see the gold fringe flag. They hear the judge, whatever it is. And so little by little. And we're in the East. When I watch the Westerns, the East hasn't changed. We were Tories back then. There were a lot more English here than there were Patriots. People who were committed to England. Merchants, people. There was, we were.
Yeah, that's how the pirates were invented. Yeah.
No, I mean on the land. No,
Oh.
just generally. Like you were either your brother is currently a British sympathizer.
Yeah.
And he's here.
He hates when I say that.
There we go.
No.
Yes.
I will splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scattered in the wind. It looks like Trump. It's hard to say whether it is or not, but that's on Telegram channel Patriot Freedom, I think is what it's called.
Oh, so what I wanted to tell you was when I got out of jail, the license had expired, and I had learned a lot about the Constitution and how we need to stick to the Constitution as the supreme law of the land and don't leave that. It's like our baseball bat.
Yeah, that's the most powerful thing you can use.
It is, and that's the founding fathers.
They knew what they were doing.
They
And
are so brilliant.
They say that, you know how the Constitutional Convention, like we went into that, it was me and you, it was me and Darren that went in and we saw that in Philadelphia.
You went to
We went to the
Independence Hall.
Yeah. And there's just a little room, probably not much bigger than this one, maybe twice the size of this one. But they had it locked and nobody could come or go when they were in there. And somebody showed up in that room and told them about the importance of what they were doing. Yeah. They say the angel Gabriel, but I don't know. Somebody showed up.
No, I believe it. It's just it's inexplainable through the natural. So just briefly, what happened was I got out and I needed to rent a car at some point in the near future. And I'm like, all right, I need a license to rent a car, a valid license. Because I was ready to travel with no problem.
Yeah.
But I couldn't rent a car if I didn't have a license.
By the way,
Well, I'm in the same situation. I travel. That's under somebody else's name because I don't like to contract with them.
have you seen that?
Si, senor.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Did you went to Mexico or you got it from there?
I have a friend who lives in Brownsville, Texas, and his wife lives in Mexico, and she has a friend that works with the DMV down there.
So I could get a license with your help?
And I sent $350 and a couple passport photos and a photograph of my Texas driver's, or it was actually Arizona driver's license, and she sent this back.
See, and they don't give you problems because it says Mexico. What do they say? You ever shown that to them, the officer?
Sorry?
You ever shown that to an officer? What did
I
they
haven't
say?
shown it to an officer, but he said that whenever he showed it to an officer, they look at it and they say, "Have a nice day," because they can't deal with it. You see what I'm saying?
But so it's interesting. So in New York, we're having like what's going on? It was called considered migrant crisis. Would they like harass me more if I showed them that?
I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean,
Oh, you're from Mexico, really?
There's no telling.
do you know any Spanish?
Si, senor.
Well, I'm Puerto Rican.
What?
I'm not fluent, but I
So you could probably
get by.
do more than what they can do.
Yeah, I get by.
Anyways, I don't know any Spanish. I know some French, but that's about it.
You know, a couple. Como te la voz, I know just
Yeah.
just,
Aquí es el baño. Yeah.
Well, I was in and out of Paris for 2 years, so I've been over to Paris, all over France, and voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, you're a little fluent. Me, I just know. I get by.
I'm
How
not
you
the
doing?
bubble-
Where's the
I'm not-
bathroom?
I'm
Something
not
bon
fluent by
jovi.
any stretch of the imagination, but if I go over to France, I can hear a lot of what they're saying, and I'll understand a lot of what they're saying. But for me to put together a sentence and stuff like that,
See, that's how I am.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I just barely know. I don't know all these big English words. I barely know English. So. You know what I'm saying? And I've realized this as I'm reading legalese. Like, what does that mean?
yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, I didn't even know English. I didn't know English. Ironic, though.
Well, it's
Yes,
all
Alfred
about the
English.
words too. It's the words. They use the words against you.
Aladas, talking about the
Yeah.
words. You have one word, and you can substitute like six, 7 different words for it.
Yeah, that's legalese.
If you do that, like in the Bible, like you say creation, and you say, whatever, and you make different exchange every word, and it can change the meaning.
Right.
If you exchange every word in a sentence, even though it's a synonym, it can change the meaning.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Aladas was really good on that. He was like, those words are so important. The way
I haven't heard from him in a long time. I hope he's still with
Makes
us.
a lot of sense, though.
Pardon?
That makes a lot of sense.
Sorry?
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I need to get that battery.
No. I need to talk loud. I forget.
No.
So-
The battery should be here already. I don't know. Yeah, Aladas was amazing. I mean, shoot.
Yeah, he lives in the DFW area, or did. I don't know if he's even alive. I haven't
I
heard
don't
from him
know.
in a long time.
Yeah, I've been up here 13 years.
So quick question, right? In my situation with child support, what criminal complaint would be the next attack?
I would again. I'd get the lawyers, and I would be going towards bar grievances on the lawyers, judicial complaints on the judges, and the criminal complaints are the foundation for that, because that's your evidence.
But the
Violated
order,
parental rights.
yeah, that's.
Right there is one of them.
No.
Violated-
I wouldn't.
But
I'm
order-
using.
I found out about the money judgment recently, and I started attacking it like a couple of years ago, but the judgment was put years ago. So I have a 18-year-old and then a 13-year-old. So the 18-year-old, we got rid of that child support. That's all gone. Now the 13-year-old, they're still trying. That's what I'm trying to cancel. It's a ridiculous amount. She's 13. How do I owe X amount of dollars? That no way. I'm not paying that. No, it's criminal what they're doing. You ask me for $100. Here's $200-$300 for the kid. I'm not doing. I don't like that. I'm not paying it because they take money. You give them $100, they give the kid like 60.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
You have to have a contract with the CEO of in Texas,
So,
the
but
Attorney General's office.
what I would be doing is I just file a notice of void judgment, and
In the case,
I'm in their
10 years
face.
later, but I mean,
Doesn't matter. Still void.
Child support.
It's a denial of due process.
It's contract law. Contract law.
Yeah, but then what happens?
It's not. What's the other?
Yeah.
Because I didn't sign my divorce decree. It's contract.
Yeah.
When you get your divorce, that's civil.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Divorce, child support is contract.
Yeah, but how do you?
You hit them on the contract.
So I didn't consent to this. And that's why you file a notice of void judgment, because that's telling them that you don't consent.
You're hitting the
And-
contract is all
and
they have against
They
you.
deny due process. Everything they do is a denial of due process.
So dealing with moving forward, like if I do that, how do you move forward dealing with Child Support Enforcement Bureau, because they're the ones responsible for the contract right now.
Right. And so again,
And those
go
are
into
the
the
clerks.
underlying case.
Word for word, verbatim, exactly what she said to me when I spoke to her. Like a month
You
ago.
can
She
claim
said,
duress.
They're
You
responsible
sign
for that
under
contract.
duress for child. That's the contract. You sign that contract under duress. That voids the contract right there. I mean, you're under
How do I
duress.
sign the contract under duress if the judgment's already been made? How do I sign under duress if it's already been made?
When you did, your
Oh, I
child
didn't know-
support.
I
You
didn't
have
know
a
any better.
contract with the child
Yeah.
support, right?
Yeah.
It's void.
I didn't know about it, but
Notice of
I know
void
You had to
judgment.
sign-
That's why I'd file a notice of void judgment into the case. You file it right into the case.
So his step one, let's just help him. What's
You
his step?
gotta hit the
his
contract.
step one,
File it.
whatever it is. I don't know what it is. Is listen to what's his step one?
There's a notice of void judgment on my website.
So step one,
Okay.
Here, let me show you.
and even if it's step two, you're still close to being step one. Whatever. Notice of void judgment. I'm gonna go grab my charger.
That's why I'm going to Texas. Okay. I gotta straighten my child support thing arrears in Texas.
See, that's what I'm dealing with, arrears. That is my problem.
We got divorced in 2004.
Yeah.
It'll
I
follow
came up
you-
here.
It'll follow you to the grave, and anything you got left, they'll sell and pay the judgment after you're gone.
Yeah, see that's I in New York they're a little ruthless. It's they won't even work with you. I mean, the best they'll work with you, you could go down there, you make a payment arrangement to get a contract with a license, and then they won't steal from you if you make a payment arrangement.
Right? They force you to enter into an agreement,
Yeah,
which they will hold you to.
That's coerced.
It's coerced.
yeah, that's the
why
best
we-
you get from them.
Okay, let's see
Right
here.
here, listen carefully.
You're
Okay,
not gonna
this
see
is-
your kids again. Whatever. You're only seeing your kids first, third, fifth weekend.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's what they say.
I have a right to see my kids every day. See, there you go.
This is
You take away
this
my
is my
rights.
website.
Mhm.
You go to the free files, and it's the generic forms.
Yeah, there's stuff in there.
So if you go here, see all of these, do it yourself, how to get compensation for labor.
Yeah.
That's the PowerPoint presentation from that video. That's all right here. All of the PowerPoint presentations from the videos are here. Generic generic training, void judgment right here. See it?
You get a 1099.
There it is right here.
Um,
I'm sorry.
There's
You
your
get a 1099
generic.
for your child support every year.
I don't file
1099
taxes. The
for your
taxes.
child support.
Yeah, taxes. I don't file
No?
taxes. I stopped filing taxes last year when I started.
There's
listening
your void judgment. I just downloaded it off my website. So this, there's a lot of files right here. Now, if you get the thumb drives, you'll get all of these files and more, a lot more than these files, but you'll get these ones for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And then if you go here also, okay, free videos.
Yeah.
These are YouTube videos. These are links to YouTube videos organized by topics.
I'm sorry. You know, I go to the website. Sometimes it's just so hard to find the forms. Or, you know, or maybe my computer like they block it, says they can't find the files or something.
I don't know. What do you mean? What forms?
I was what was I looking for? Last time I was looking for a form.
On my website?
Yeah, I was looking for the I don't remember what it was.
If you go to how about this one? How about Form 1020? Because this is going to be the YouTube video, right?
Yeah, you sent me that.
Well, but let it finish loading. There we go. It's loaded. You click on this right here, and you go down here, and there you go. Your Form 1020s are right here, and you download them. They're on Google Drive. Okay, Texas bar complaint, bar member affidavit complaint, motion for disclosure. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff that's in these, like bar members. Those are links to playlists, but there's request for disclosure template. Notice of void judgment. Right there is a notice of void judgment. You don't even have to go to my website. You can get it right there too. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So all you do is you click on that link because it's in the show notes. It's in the show notes is where it's at.
Great. Now I'm gonna definitely check that out.
So now you know what to look for.
Yeah. Thank you for because I know on your videos you're always just trying to
Right.
stick on mission. So. Yeah.
So anyways, I got to change this. Whoops.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What was you were saying something about if I signed for it or something?
Sorry?
If I made a contract, what did you say before?
It's all contracts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah.
That's why you file a
Divorce.
notice of void judgment.
Yeah.
File it right into the case.
But what would child support do? Like the Enforcement Bureau itself, I file that in the case, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy's still starting shit."
Well, that's okay. They're going to say that. I don't give a shit.
But I'm just saying, outside of that, like, what would they do outside of them just being like, "Oh"?
Then what I would do, I'd use that as evidence. Once you get the file stamp on it, you got proof that it's filed. Now you can file it as evidence for bar grievances against the lawyers because they know that it's a void judgment. And they're representing you without authority. There's all sorts of reasons why. And then you file criminal complaints like for example, if they're putting on their website that you owe money, then it's wire fraud, right? And if you're like these are all
On the website, see? I mean,
but these are wire fraud and statutory. But so if they're putting on their website that you owe money, that's wire fraud.
Okay, and then if they mail me something that's mail fraud.
Then yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
if they mail something to your all block capital letters name, that's a minor estate. That's mail fraud.
Yeah, they definitely did.
Yeah,
They
exactly.
harassed my mother.
Exactly.
My mother just moved. How did they find her address?
Yeah, well, because your mother probably gives it to them. But the point is, though, is that it's mail fraud, and until you start accusing them of it, they're going to get away with it because we're under martial law, and martial law you have to complain.
Okay, I get it. You have to, sovereigns ask questions.
If you
not
don't
ask questions.
complain, they're going to keep doing it, and it's not going to stop. When you complain, the FBI will go over there and talk to them, and all of a sudden they'll have a change of heart.
Do I have to complain directly to FBI or just in regular process? They'll still talk to them.
Oh no, I'm not going to talk to them because they're just nothing but a bunch of thieves. Why would you talk to a thief? You're asking a thief to quit being a thief. You see what I'm saying? I get the FBI to go over there and educate them because what will happen is, think about it. They can claim plausible deniability under martial law. Okay, there's the Libra Code, Article 47 of the Libra Code says that any soldier that's raping someone or pillaging their property, if his superior officer tells him to stop and he fails to stop, he can be shot dead on the spot. And so the point being is they get to do it once until you tell them to stop. Okay?
Yes.
And then once you tell them to stop, FBI goes over and talks to them, and they say, and they don't stop. Then the next time the FBI goes over, it's to arrest their ass. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, what's that procedure called with the
Libra Code.
when you
That's in the Libra Code, Article 47 of the Libra Code.
Libra Code?
Yeah.
So that's Article 47.
Yeah. What happened is in 1860. First of all, the Southern states walked out of Congress in 1861, right? And the Union Army invaded Galveston, Texas in 1861. And so Texas has been under a military occupation ever since. Lincoln, in like 1862 or 1863, Lincoln hired a guy by the name of Francis Lieber, okay, who was a Harvard law professor. Hired him to write the Lieber Code, which is the law of war for the U.S. Army. And that has never been repealed, okay? All they've done is they've added stuff to it, okay? You see all these...
This is good stuff. Trying to make sure. Hard part is remembering everything.
I mean, this, it's like you learn stuff and you just realize how much you don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's
I mean, you realize how
Yeah.
much you don't know
Yeah.
because you're like,
You see this? This is the official U.S. Army Sniper Training and Operations Manual, okay? Field Manual 3.3-22.10, okay? So my point is, this was added to the Libra Code, okay?
it's just like an amendment.
Yeah, they add to it. And so this...
So
all these
how big is it now? Like fill this room?
Well, how many field manuals are there? Think about it.
wow.
Okay? They just add to it. Okay? And so the point being is that the Libra Code is still in place. They've never repealed it. And Article 1 of the Libra Code says the physical presence of the Army declares its martial law. They don't have to make a proclamation. And Article 2 of the Libra Code says the martial law doesn't end until there's a specific mention in a treaty of peace or a special proclamation by the commander-in-chief. And I can tell you there's been no proclamations. And with Texas, there was no treaty of peace. With Arizona, there was a treaty
when
of
they
peace.
did the Gettysburg Address, that didn't end all that.
No,
No?
no.
Boy.
So
No.
that's why.
I thought that was the end of the war when...
No, they have to say it has to be a specific mention. And first of all, with the Civil War, there was an armistice. That's all it was an armistice, a ceasefire.
Okay.
Okay, there was no treaty of peace. And with in Arizona, they have the Treaty of Hidalgo, okay, which is Arizona, California, New Mexico, Nevada, Utah. There's a huge tract of land that's part of the Treaty of Hidalgo.
Wasn't that
Okay.
a fort?
Huh?
Wasn't that a fort?
Sorry?
Hidalgo fort?
No. No.
California was a republic back then, no?
Well, that was, yeah, but the point is that there was a Treaty of Hidalgo, but it doesn't say anything in there about ending the martial law. Okay, and it has to say something about ending the martial law, and they don't. So there's lots of treaties, but they never say anything about ending the martial law. That's why the police wear military uniforms, military rank structures. They're military police. I always call them military police. That's why they don't want to talk to me anything. But so the point is
That makes sense.
that we're under martial law. And unless you complain under martial law, they're going to keep doing what they're doing.
Ooh.
You know? I'll be back.
Guess that's why they have the "Don't tread on me" thing. You know, remember you see that snake kind of and says "Don't tread on me."
Yeah.
See, I'm starting to understand what he's saying. If you don't tell them to stop, they're going to tread on you. I said, "Don't tread on me." I didn't. You see, oh man, and it's like the snake kind of like wrapped around something. I can't remember what he's wrapped around, but it's like the snake is cutting off your rights. And it said, "Don't tread on me." It's trying to get that snake off you.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm trying to get him off right now.
What?
Trying to get the snake off right now.
Oh, well, hey.
I almost got him off, but he's still stuck to my leg.
You're at the right place. I'm telling you.
It was stuck to my leg, and I was trying to get him off.
Yeah, well, at least you know it's there. A lot of people don't even know they have a snake hanging on, sucking their blood out. You know,
Right.
or
And then
poisoning
you
them.
just dropped.
They're
Like, oh,
poisoning-
what happened to me?
They're poisoning them, and they don't even know the snake is there. See, at least you know.
Yeah,
The
I
snake's there.
got lucky. I seen it in a reflection or something.
See, they have, it's called good faith. Okay, and you
Yeah.
look in
Remember
New York
saying
statutes, and it talks about good faith.
Yeah.
In Texas, it talks about good faith. In the federal codes, it talks about good faith. As long as that cop can claim good faith, he's going to get away with it once. Okay, once. He gets once. But once you complain, he doesn't have good faith anymore. I've had cops even tell me that they can go ahead and do it as long as they can claim good faith. And I said, yeah, but once I tell you about it, you don't have good faith anymore.
Yeah, I remember that in one of your presentations. It was
Right.
some chief of police. something.
Right.
My last case against Social Security, they said if I appeal, I'm not acting in good faith. They told that to me.
Yeah, well.
If I appeal, I have a right to appeal, right? You have a right, common law. Isn't it common law, right to appeal?
I don't.
Or is it constitutional?
Well, appeals all Admiralty.
Okay. Well, they said it'll be taken in. It won't be taken in good faith if I appeal this. I said, well, they ain't solved. Nobody's helping me solve it. Yeah, they're just like, go away. Like, you know, remember?
Right.
Go away. Leave us.
Well, you got to understand, Social Security is a privilege, so it's a little different.
Yeah, I have a Social Security case. I'm in third appeals.
Yeah.
But you have to have a contract. Child support, you have to have a contract with the chief of Social Security.
Yeah.
42 USC section like 663 5C I. It says the entity, the CEO, has to have a contract with the respondent, he called it pay rent.
Yeah.
You're paying rent to see
You're
your
right.
kids.
Right.
Basically, this
Right.
guy's so on YouTube. He says you're a pay rent. You're paying rent to the system.
You're a parent.
pay rent, but he's putting pay in there.
Right.
Pay rent.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, and that sticks. Right? When you come up with something like that, it sticks, right? Pay rent.
Well,
I've been paying rent to see my kids.
I've heard that on the internet. That's the
It's like, wait a minute, no, I'm the owner of the kids. See, if you're renting this place, you don't own it, right? Yeah.
Right.
You own it.
But
You
it-
can rent it
It
out.
goes back to the minor estate, is what it does.
Yeah.
How do you like? Quick question. You say go after 7 years, if you don't claim it, they'll try to claim it.
Mm.
How do you get your kid to claim it? Like, how do you help you? Like, say I have another kid and I want him or her to claim this minor estate. How do I do it?
I don't know. It's not something that I'm interested in because I think it's satanic. It's a fraud, and so it's all.
Well, my question, what I'm really asking is, how do I how do I stop like one of my newborns from it being a U.S. citizen
Well,
outside of
notice
hospital?
They have to be
Notice the
born at
demand.
home.
That's it.
If they're born home, then yeah. And what you do, if you look in the passport application, it says that you can use the family Bible for evidence of the fact that you were born here. Because at common law, those kinds of events are recorded in the family Bible. You get one of these big family Bibles, and there's a section in the back or the front, sometimes in the front, sometimes in the back, but where
Parents,
births and
grandparents,
marriages and all sorts of family events are recorded. And so what you do is, and I talk about it in my videos, what you do is you record it in there, and then what I would do is I would get a certified copy and make an affidavit and record it into the county recorder. So then it's recorded into the public too. And so, but that's how I would do it, and that's how I wouldn't say I have done it that way, but I've done similar things. I've recorded a notice and declaration of birth for the birth of my son.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me this. I was just curious how you went about that. It's just putting your son's name in the Bible. That's it.
Well,
And then what happens when he gets older? I'm assuming he's probably what is it, early 20s, early 30s or something, right?
he's like 18 right now. Why?
Oh wow. So what happens when they're like, hey, so what are you gonna, do you have a social security or a bank account? What are they saying to him?
Well, he was born in a hospital anyways, and so they went and forcibly registered his birth.
Oh,
But I had a daughter
Yeah.
that was born in Ontario with a midwife at home.
Yeah.
And the midwife, this is the government, okay? The midwife gave us the paperwork. And they said, the midwife told us that we could send it to the registrar and register it if we want, but we didn't have to. And ultimately, I did send it in, and I regret it. I think I shouldn't have.
I did
But
too.
yeah.
I had two with the midwife. my
Is
two
that right?
sons. Yeah,
because if, like, for example, if you went in a courtroom, you said, I never had a social security number. Okay, so what do we do with this case? So that's what I was asking, how do I situate my new kids?
So the only way you're going to be able to do that is, well, first of all, you got to educate them that to have your babies at home.
Okay.
And the ones that haven't been had at home, then don't use the social security number. Okay, don't use it for anything. If you don't use it, it'll go inactive after about 10 years. I've heard. I don't know, but I've heard that after about 10 years, it goes inactive, and you can't get credit. But if you're used to living like that, then you don't need credit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's great because I moving forward with my kids, I try to teach them. I only know so much, but I do plant little seeds like this isn't true, this is nonsense. Look at this.
Right.
makes- just so they could just be independent thinkers at least.
Right? Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Get them critical thinking. It's called critical thinking.
Yeah.
Think about what you're doing, and just because somebody tells you to do something doesn't mean you have to do it.
I try to, and then, plus, I tell my kids, your uncle's a federal lawyer, but, you don't want that job either.
Yeah.
You like Jesus. That's what I say.
Right.
And the lawyer goes, hey, you should be a lawyer. I told him, But I like Jesus.
Yeah, really.
He stood stuck. Thank you for believing me, though. But I no.
I'm gonna end our live stream because it's after 5 o'clock.
I didn't even know he's on.
This is
Yeah.
how many are on there today?
There's 18 right now.
Okay.
Had 224 views, and I'm gonna end the live stream, and we'll be back at tomorrow morning, bright and early, 10 o'clock local time. See you guys tomorrow.
Y'all did all right today. I didn't even know you're still alive. It was like